Hello everyone, Ian and Leona here. Mr. Pierre on Instagram was the first thing that I see on my feed as soon as I come back from going to McDonald's. The first thing I see, and to hear him describe his sexual assault was extremely triggering for me, but also I just wanted to let him know that he's not the first person that this happened to, that this happens a lot. Men go through their entire lives and they say, yeah, I have girlfriends, I have friends who are female, I have family members who are female. I'm pretty used to the idea of they may joke, they may play around, but for the most part, you go through life thinking, yeah, women make comments, but they're not gonna assault you. They're not gonna sexually assault you. And he went through his entire event where he went to a massage parlor where the woman does his back and says turn over, and he says that he's been to other massage parlors where you turn over, they do the rest of the body. I mean, if you were just one side, that would be strange, but some people just say back and that's it. I don't turn over, you don't touch anywhere else. But if you have gone to other massage parlors and you've never had a problem, you've never had to establish boundaries. And men never think to establish boundaries with women because the idea is that women are weaker, or they're not attracted to you in this way, or they know that they don't have a chance with you. Whatever compartmentalization that you have, you never see it coming. You never do. I was sexually abused by the United States Air Force female master sergeant in a hospital wing. Pretty much. It was hospice care at the time because I was injured. That isn't supposed to be sexy. I'm injured. I'm on crutches most of the time. That isn't supposed to be sexy to you. But I didn't see it coming. The woman was tough. The woman was whatever. I didn't expect her to demand a sexual act from me. I didn't. He is on that table and he's getting massaged, and the woman is trying to get him hard so that she could ask for more. Just completely not picking up the vibe, not doing anything. And I don't know if the person spoke English or not, but even if they didn't, there are rules. There are rules. And I am the mindset of, if you wanted that, there are places that have that, and for those that really want that kind of experience, I don't judge you. I don't judge you because it's a hard world, and in a way, and I guess this is the thing that I'm definitely not going to write on his Instagram feed of, sometimes touch can be healing. Sometimes touch can be healing. even sexual touch could be healing. But you have to be in the right emotional space. It has to, I would prefer it would be something legal too, but in this case, he was thinking no, and that should have been enough. That should have been enough for this woman. And he finishes the massage, he's hyperventilating. If your patient at the time is hyperventilating, how are you not calling an ambulance? How are you not saying stop everything? But men aren't supposed to scream. Men aren't supposed to make a sound. I'll never forget how cruel California was, that I had suffered a concussion and I was told by two women in the MRI booth to don't move. And that just made me think of my sexual abuse by Master Sergeant Miranda. Just this attitude of just lie there and take the abuse. Take this abuse. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? Because America doesn't allow men to cry. Men don't allow other men to scream, to shout or anything. I keep talking about this incident with Amtrak because this woman put her hand underneath my jacket. I videotaped the whole entire incident of this woman getting up from her chair at the front of the train to come to the back of the train to put a hand underneath my jacket and around me. And then I'm told that I am unruly for complaining about it, and then not even complaining about it because I was reading a book at the time. I press the attendant button and I say, I need to talk to you. This woman came over here. She put her hand underneath my jacket. I don't know if she was trying to rob me or anything, but I felt uncomfortable. And I've already made a phone call to Amtrak to let them know. You know, I'm a veteran with PTSD. I'm a veteran with PTSD, so I will freak out if one of your female passengers decides to sexually abuse or sexually assault me or just harass or menace me. Now, I know this goddamn West Coast is doing everything in its power to say, you know, you could probably make some more money if you learn to trust women again, if you learn to work with women again, you could probably be an actor, you could probably do this, you could probably do that. Because a lot of the times that I get food or something like that, it's usually just a staffing thing or whatever. But like I say, if it was just random, I would be shocked, but it never is. It never is. But they're trying to say, you know what, could you stop freaking out? Could you stop freaking out? And my thing is, no, no, no. Because every time I say, as a man, you know what, I cannot live my entire life filled with hate. I cannot live my entire life hating women for the accidents. They say accidents, but I don't consider them accidents. I consider them just the removal of the mask, just women being honest, that they want sex, that they want sex at any cost. Without your consent, they want it. They're being honest. And fuck them for being that way. These are horrible people. These are absolutely horrible people. But every time I say, give them another chance, or see, this woman isn't doing anything to you, I let my guard down for half a second. I let my guard down, and a woman sexually abuses, sexually assaults, or just menaces me because I didn't have the automatic boundaries that if you see someone who you feel uncomfortable with, to tell them, no, please don't come near me. Please don't come near me. I was trying to be as reasonable as possible because I said, going to my destination is more important than my safety. And what I can say to Mr. Pierre's situation here, he was of the mindset of, if I scream for help, I will be considered weak. So he would rather hyperventilate. I felt that way. When I was dealing with Master Sergeant Miranda of the United States Air Force, that's what I did. I'm in the military, she's in the military. She threatened to rape me. I should have punched her in the face and ran away. This was a combat situation. I don't care if she outranked me. That's what I should have done. But then again, there's the fact that she did outrank me, and I'm a person of color. So, what would have happened in that situation? She would have called for security forces, and the security forces would have said, okay, well, we have an AWOL airman, bang, and done. And then my parents, my family, they would never know what happened. They would never know. Because that's how America does things. The last time I tried to call the Air Force about this incident and them ever doing an investigation, they said to me, oh yeah, well, we had a death on base. And we're focused on that right now. And I'm talking about my sexual abuse on your base. And you didn't want to talk about that. When I was there in 2018, you didn't want to talk about that. The Air Force never wants to talk about it. The Department of Defense doesn't want to talk about it. The Department of Veteran Affairs said, you bitch so much, here's some money, shut the fuck up, and just let it be that way. And I'm looking at the situation with Mr. Pierre, and Mr. Pierre doesn't have the training. None of us do. No man ever trains to be in a situation where you physically refuse a woman. I feel it. I feel just how heartbreaking it is to be in this position of, I'm supposed to be the powerful one here, because he's talking about, well, I'm this tall, and I weigh this much, and I should have been, and it's, you're never gonna be enough. You're never gonna be big enough. You're never gonna be tall enough. You're never gonna have enough influencers behind you as your biggest fans to keep you out of a situation like this. This happens in America. It is huge in America. Sometimes I guess it is kind of fucking sexy, but sometimes it's just scary. It's just scary. No man or woman should ever have to deal with this. This situation for him should have been a time of peace and serenity. A massage is a way to connect to your body, connect to your spirituality, can connect to healing after all the bullshit that you put yourself through to even afford this. To even afford this. And now that's just ruined for him. That's ruined. How can he ever go back to a massage parlor? How can he do that? An expert on stretching and an expert on reflexology, an expert on acupressure, on everything. And this person took their knowledge and decided to just go the sexual route against someone who said, no, with their body language, because they weren't able to say it verbally. I was I was very, very lucky that I was able to say no. That despite the fact that I was shaking with fear and rage, I was able to say no. I was able to articulate how disgusting I found that woman and the fact she wanted to commit rape against me while in uniform. That kind of strength is rare. Rare. And that took all the energy I had. I was sent to the hospital because of being sexually abused. They didn't do an investigation. They didn't do anything. No reprimand, nothing. No justice. There's no justice. I hope he does take those comments seriously about suing that goddamn fucking company. Speaking to the Better Business Bureau, speaking to his state legislature, because you have to have a conversation about things like this. You can't just put your hand on someone sexually in a therapeutic environment, or even by their genitals in a therapeutic environment without their complete trust. Complete trust. Even if it is to just move them in one direction, move them in another direction, you need to be able to trust the people who touch your body. Case in point, I'm at the McDonald's and I'm hungry. I'm trying to get my food. I already pre-ordered it, so I didn't have to talk to anyone. And the female manager just decided, I'm gonna bring him his food. So she holds the bag out to me, and I took the bag, but I looked at it as if it was filled with snakes. Just filled with snakes. Because I said, I just don't want you to touch me. I don't want you to even get close to touching me. What I should have done in that moment was stick to my rules of you put the bag down, you walk away, I pick it up. There wasn't any rush, there wasn't anyone behind me. I would have taken my time to do so without putting myself through more issues. But even more so, there was a camera there. There was. I'm protected, she's protected. We're all protected. People don't want to bring cameras into these massage parlors. People don't want to bring cameras into their lives. We like to think, oh, police officers, body cams? I mean, of course that makes sense. I mean, they have to deal with right and wrong all the time. They have to make the decisions that could be life or death. Right? But then we don't say to ourselves, all the things we go through, all the pain and the misery of these kind of events of sexual assault, of sexual abuse, rape. We need transparency. Now, I said it earlier, you know, these West Coast people are doing their part to say, get over it. But I'm never going to get over it. Mr. Pierre, he's never going to get over this. The man has been traumatized. Doesn't matter how big he is, doesn't matter how many followers he has. The man was violated. How would you feel? Now, for some men, that is the fantasy. But it wasn't his. It was his nightmare. I don't have as many, you know, people who know me, so all I can do is you have to now your fans, they weren't there for you there. And right now, he needs to know that people do care, but he has to care for himself. Because all men need to see this as a wake up call. We need to have, you see, how much pain this caused? You see how much pain this caused? It doesn't just affect him, it affects everyone who's ever been sexually abused, sexually assaulted, or raped, male or female. He's probably gonna have to take a lot of time and everything. He has somewhat of a support network. Somewhat, yeah. For those that don't, for those that are just dealing with the aftermath of being violated on their own, they need to know that they can overcome. They need to know that they can never be normal again, but they can find strength. I go to that McDonald's to train continually, always train my service animals, but then also to train myself. Sometimes you just can't cross the street because something you don't have the right to sexually abuse me, you do not have the right to sexually assault me, and I leave. That woman never knows. She never knows. But I remind myself that there is a right way and a wrong way to do things. There is a time to be unruly, Amtrak. There's a time to be unruly, and that's when you're being sexually abused, sexually assaulted, robbed, or harassed in any way. That's the time to be unruly. And Mr. Pierre just wanted to be polite. Polite in the face of someone trying to sexually assault him or sexually assault him. Now, in his case, I'm just going to say it was just sexual assault. Just call it what it is. The man was hyperventilating, shaking with fear. He couldn't say the word no, but it was a clear no. Now, I know that in this world, there are so many instances of, well, if you try it this way, the person turns into a yes, or maybe I know what's better for this person, I know what they need. That doesn't apply to something like this. The man was hyperventilating, clearly in medical distress. There should have been an ambulance. There should have been a medical staff member on site. How is there so many oversights here? So many oversights. This is what takes a man and says, incel. This is what, for me at least, this is what takes it and says, if we have business, it's going to be business. But the idea of banter, the idea of anything, no, not really. Case in point, says hello to me, and all I can think is, hey, I go to Starbucks. You know, a trans woman that is currently a man. And turns out the person wants to inquire about my music. So I'm like, fine. Let me give you my music name, my name for it, and if you wanted to check it out, check it out. And I walk away. That's it. That's it. I make a lot of music. I don't know who the people are who keep listening to my music, buying my singles. I don't know who you are. I say thank you to my fans that do purchase my music. I don't know if you also listen to my podcast here for PT. If you're a fan, but I will never tolerate a fan grabbing me, pinching me, or even running up and hugging me. That will never happen. I'm not putting it into the future that I will do concerts. I'm not putting it into the future that I may or may not do a movie at some point. I'm just setting my boundaries now because before before I watched the video of Mr. Pierre describing his sexual assault, I got up. I was having a relatively okay day. Relatively okay day. And I said, for 2 seconds, 2 seconds, why don't I look nice today? Why don't I treat myself with respect for 2 seconds and just say, make an effort, not for them, for myself, for myself, because I am a beautiful person. I am a beautiful person and I hide my beauty because I never want to be in a situation where a woman feels like, oh, I owe her. I owe her a conversation. I owe her to touch me against my will without my consent. So I wear dirty clothes. I don't wash my clothes. I let my hair look like a fucking bird's nest all the time. I see the people on Instagram and they have similar styles to me. They work out all the things that I want to do. I want to do something more than Instagram with my life, but the idea that I just want to be Mr. Ugly to tell women subconsciously fuck off doesn't sit well with me. Not anymore. Not anymore. I've decided that next month I'm just gonna be pretty. I'm just going to be Mr. Pretty. Mr. Well to do pretty boy. Because this is my life, this is my story. And after watching that video with Mr. Pierre, I have to be brave. I have to be brave because I have to be that spokesperson for every man and woman who's been violated by rape, sexual abuse, or sexual harassment that took the route of I don't want to wear nice clothes. I don't want to have people compliment me. I don't want to take the attention and put it on myself because I don't want that to happen again. It's it keeps happening. It keeps happening, but I cannot let that be the story. I cannot let that be my story. That because some disgusting, degenerate woman decided to violate me against my will. And to all the female fans that I have and female victims of rape, sexual assault, or sexual harassment, you should never be ashamed of how beautiful you are inside and outside. That is nothing to be ashamed of. It is something to be celebrated. You are beautiful. Own that. You own how beautiful you are. Take pride in your beauty. It is yours. I wish Mr. Pierre all the help, all the help that he needs, all the shoulders to cry on that he needs, all the days off of work that he should probably take, including days off of social media, just to think, process, heal, cry, shout, scream, throw things. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to process this, but I wish him that safe space to just deal with everything that has been thrown at him, because it's more than just being sexually assaulted. It's the stigma. It's the stigma of, well, aren't you a man? Aren't you supposed to be stronger than that? Aren't you supposed to be able to say no? You are supposed to say no. I hate to say that, Mr. I hate to say next time. Because I didn't think there was going to be a next time after I was sexually assaulted in Long Beach, after being sexually abused at Lackland Air Force Base. Because I thought I did everything right. I made all the right moves. I didn't go out at night. I didn't talk to people. My energy was never inviting, but it happened. And then I want to say last the last couple of weeks after the latest incident were horrible. I spend most of my days indoors crying and shouting and screaming, get away from me, leave me alone. I'm sure the other people here in this hotel probably think I'm a crazy person, and I don't mind. I don't mind. I see Instagram with its, would you like to be part of a schizophrenia medical trial? And I say, I don't even fucking mind, because I need to practice saying no. I need to practice saying, get away from me. While holding a camera. Because the idea that Amtrak calls me paranoid while some woman puts her hands underneath my clothes is disgusting. Disgusting. That this person has a badge and could not be bothered to do their job. And even worse, when I actually did get to Seattle after being chucked off the fucking train, they made me wait for hours to speak to the police. So when I finally get down there and I say, I'm going to speak to an officer, I'm going to speak to an officer about what happened, they shoved a female officer in front of me. Now, granted, she's just trying to do her job. But then I also say, paranoia or not, this was the second time in a row after being sexually abused, sexually abused for the day, that they tried to force a woman on me. When I get off the train after being told I was unruly for complaining about a woman with her hands underneath my clothes, they say, get into this car with this female red cap driver. And I refuse. And then finally, when I get to speak to the police, it's a female police officer. And I don't mind, because I say, you're going to do your job. I'm going to talk to you as if I would talk to a man. I'm going to explain the situation. And you're going to do your part. I'm going to put all this evidence here. You want me to upload some things? I'll upload it. Seattle had the goal to even say to me, you know what, can you fill out a satisfaction survey? And I said, satisfaction for what? You didn't do any police work. Who the fuck is this woman? Now I have to fill out a Freedom of Information letter. I have to hire a lawyer in order to find out who this woman is that decided that she could put her hands underneath my clothes, and then sue Amtrak for, number one, defamation, because you call me paranoid, and I do say that I am anxious about these things, but for good reason. If a woman puts her hands underneath your clothes and you don't know this woman and you don't give permission, yeah, that is what you fear. That is what you would be upset at. So yeah, there's something fundamentally wrong with with the West Coast that they they do things like this. There's something fundamentally wrong with America that they do this. Because this wasn't just some random woman on the street. This whole thing is orchestrated. It's orchestrated against men. Men are targeted. Some women are targeted too. We're being targeted in our own country and we never talk about it because we're so busy dealing with our trauma that we never say, pick up the fucking microphone and talk about it. Because someone needs to hear that you struggle and still get up every day, that you struggle and still try to eat, that you struggle and sometimes even say, I'll brush my teeth because I care about myself. And the amount of energy that it takes to even do that is huge. Because everything is telling me just be ugly, be invisible, forget about who you are, forget about your talent, forget about your beauty, forget about all of it. No, no. The time has come for men and women who have spent their lives as victims to step out of the fucking shadows, out of the tear stained cocoon that they build for themselves, to stand proudly in the light and say, see me. Don't just see me cry, see me thrive, see me live, see me shine. You cannot stop me from shining. I don't want to stop me from shining. I'm not going to. For every Pierre, every Ian Ileana, for every hashtag Me Too person, male or female, we owe it to ourselves to step forward and live again. Because we cannot go backwards. We cannot stop. My name is Ian Ileana. I'm an environmentalist, a human rights activist, a mutant, a werewolf, a I'm a veteran with PTSD from military sexual trauma, and I am not getting better. But I don't back down. And I won't be shoved into a closet because I shine. Because I'm beautiful, I'm talented, I'm smart. I already came out as gay, I already came out as bisexual. God damn it. I'm gonna talk to people if I feel like it. I'm gonna be out there in the world. And you're just gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to learn how to respect my boundaries because I'm gonna make them extremely clear, loudly. Every time I board a bus, every time I enter a room, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say, my name is Ian Ileana. I have been sexually assaulted and sexually abused. Please move away. My name is Ian Ileana. I have been sexually. My name is Ian Ileana. I have been sexually assaulted and sexually abused. Move away. And now you know to please move away. I hope to see you on the next podcast.